Good evening, everyone. I am Rosemary Latham, and I will be serving as your moderator this evening. On behalf of the Northwest Democratic Club, I would like to welcome you to Congressional District 6 Democratic Candidate Forum. Thank you for being here this evening. We are also live streaming this event on YouTube. So the recording will be available after tonight's event is over. We did have a candidate forum with David Jolly several months ago, and that YouTube link is also on our website. If anyone ever wants to view that, that is available. And this one will be available there as well, if you want to maybe catch something that you might have missed or clarify something. Tonight, we have 4 of the 5 candidates that are currently running for Congressional District 6, and they are all running against Randy Fine. Candidates present tonight are Robert Cooper II, Jennifer Jenkins, Ronnie Murchinson-Rivera, and Eric Yonce. There is a 5th candidate by the name of Steve Morgan. He is unable to attend this evening, but just so that you know, there are indeed 5 people running for this seat. The format of tonight's event will be to allow candidates to introduce themselves, and then they will answer 3 pre-arranged questions which have been submitted to their campaigns. There will be an opportunity for questions, and then each candidate will be given the opportunity for a closing statement. Each candidate will be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. They will be timed, and our 2 timekeepers here are Donna and Karen. They will hold up cards, and we do have a bell, and we also have control of your microphone. So we do want to give you the ability to speak, but we certainly want to be mindful to keep it fair and mindful of the audience's time as well. The question and answer session, we will have one because we're ahead of schedule, which is actually a miracle. But as we get through this evening, we will have a question and answer session. We have had some questions that were pre-submitted online that we will be reading, and also we would have the opportunity to take some questions from the audience. We will give each candidate a 1-minute response to the question. Again, we're trying to get through questions and give each candidate the opportunity to answer a question. And we also have some, as I said, questions that were submitted online. And since this is live streaming, Troy will be monitoring the chat site to see if anyone who is listening in might have a question that they want to ask as well. That being said, any questions of our candidates on the process for this evening or any clarification that you need?
Is intro 5 minutes or 3?
3. Okay. We good to go? Okay. So what we will do is we will start with the introduction. Each of you is allowed 3 minutes. And we will start alphabetically with Robert Cooper II.
All right. Thank y'all for having me, and I love to talk, so you're gonna have to ring that bell. But really, I'm grateful to be here. I'm Rob Cooper. I'm a candidate running for Florida Congressional District 6. I'm a CEO of a nonprofit, so I've been out there doing the work, working with working families, working with seniors and our vets, and then our youth. And so I'm originally from South Carolina. I moved to Florida in 2015. And, you know, it wasn't an easy thing. I made some mistakes, but I know how to rebound and get back up. And I understand the struggle of what our working families and people in CD6 is going through, because I've been there and I understand that struggle. And so I decided to get in this race because I just can't see and stand back and let what's going on and not be able to do something. So. And that's what the military taught me. That's what my parents taught me, is when you see a problem, you go and try to be the solution and try to fix the problem or be the change. And the change started with me. And so that's why I'm in this race. And I'm close to my 3 minutes. Okay. And that's it. So I'm going to pass it on down.
Candidate will be Jennifer Jenkins.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Jenkins. I had the pleasure of serving on the Brevard County School Board. And in 2020, when I ran for that seat, Donald Trump won my district by 17 points, but we still managed to defeat the Republican incumbent by almost 10. And we did that with the incredible work of our local DEC volunteers. We did that because I stayed true to who I was. I'm a mom, I'm an educator, and I'm a damn proud Democrat. Now, my opponent didn't take that loss lightly, and she went on to she was one of the original founders of Moms for Liberty. And so our community very quickly was thrusted into the birthplace of public education culture wars. They protested outside of our school board meetings. They protested outside of my home. They vandalized my property and burned FU in my lawn. They made a false DCF claim saying I was abusing my daughter, where I had to take an investigator to look underneath her clothing to see if I was burning her body when she was 5 years old. And Representative Randy Fine publicly called me a pedophile, a child abuser, mentally ill, and a whore. The cost of doing my job was incredibly high, but I always knew that the cost of doing nothing would be higher. And I knew that because I couldn't let my students grow up in a system that was going to demonize her educators and label them indoctrinators and pedophiles. I didn't want her to grow up in a system that was going to whitewash history and diminish the contributions of African Americans in our curriculum, a system that was seeking to erase the LGBTQ community from our student bodies and our faculty. And I couldn't stand by and watch politicians argue about banning the access to bathrooms instead of banning the access of weapons that are murdering our children in their schools. I am tired of it. I am tired of politicians like Representative Randy Fine who only care about their political future and not about the people that they were elected to serve, because I, like so many of you in this room, know what it feels like to stretch a paycheck, know what it feels like to see the cost of groceries, rent, and utilities rising, eating away at your monthly budget. I'm an educator married to a middle school teacher in the lowest paid state in this country. I've had 2 jobs since I graduated college and literally delivered groceries to my neighbors to make ends meet. So if you are sick and tired of seeing your wages get lower and the wealthy donors get richer, this is the campaign for you. If you are sick and tired of seeing ICE agents shooting people in the street for standing up for their neighbors, this is the campaign for you. And if you are sick and tired of a rubber stamp named Randy Fine for that orange pedophile in the White House, this is the campaign for you. Thank you.
We will now hear from Ronnie Murchinson-Rivera.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Ronnie Murchinson-Rivera. I'm running to be your next U.S. Congressman. I believe I'm the best person for the job, and I have a background in it, and let me explain why. I was born and raised in New York City in a lower middle class family, born up in the projects. I met my lovely wife right here in the front row at church when we was young and started volunteering my time since then to give back to our community. Growing up, I met my godmother who introduced me to EMS. And from 13, I got involved in my local volunteer ambulance squad. And from there, once I turned 18, I got my EMT certification, where I worked since over 15 years working in EMS. While in New York City, me and my wife, we also started a nonprofit organization. I'm good. I thought it was you. Okay. We started a nonprofit organization to help give back to our community. The intention was to start a free ambulance service because healthcare costs was high. But of course, that got shot down due to corporate greed. But that didn't stop us. We continued going. Gave it up. We started giving out free food, free services, helping people homeless, veterans. Also in New York City, I served on the New York City District Education Council, where it's like the school board down here, but it's a volunteer position in New York. I did that for many years. I also was elected as a PTA vice president of my local school district where my children was going. Eventually, we moved to Florida in 2017, and I continued to give back to my community, and I became a law enforcement officer. And I did that from 2017 up until last October. I know the struggle. I came from it. I'm the first person in my generation to graduate college in 3 generations with 2 degrees. I've been a lifelong Democrat my entire life for many, many, many generations. Even here in Florida, I still give back to my community while serving in law enforcement. I was a youth football coach. I still continue in the public, helping out with food and giving back to community. And I saw a problem, and I couldn't stand by anymore and not help fix it. Even serving as a law enforcement officer down here in Mount Dora, I was an FOP union liaison for my local officers. They voted me on because they know I know how to stand up and fight, because that's what I was taught, to stand up and fight. And when you see a problem, you have to stand up and fight towards it. And that's why I believe that I'm the right person to stand up for you guys in Washington. Thank you.
And now we will hear from Eric Yonce.
Hey everyone, my name is Eric Yonce. I am a 3rd-generation Floridian. I have been in this district pretty much my entire life. I grew up over in Citra, just north of Ocala, currently live in Ormond Beach. Being here for the amount of time I have watched as we've just been sidelined by poor representation. For decades, we've had people use this district as a political stepping stone, whether it's advancing their career, getting rich, or settling political scores. And it's time that we've had a representative that actually cares about the district that they are chosen to represent. I had a career in retail for 22 years, spent my time in big box retail, Target, Toys R Us, Dick's Sporting Goods. As a retail manager, you are the person, you are the one person that is being relied on in that store, whether you're helping your teammates with managing their budget, figuring out healthcare, childcare, you are the resource for them. You build teams, you work with your customers, and at the end of the day, you really build community. Your store is part of the community, and that was one of my biggest purposes of that. Retail really taught me what leadership was and what leadership is, and that it is meant to help people. And that's what I see as our big failure right now in our government, is the fact that we don't have leaders that stand up and fight for the things that are truly important to us because they do not understand what those things are. And it is time that we start having a representative that A, truly understands that because they come from it, and 2, that actually cares and loves the area that they are chosen to represent. That is who I am. I love this part of Florida. I could tell you every little back road there is. I could tell you how to get from point A to point B and all the in-betweens about it. And it's time that we've had a representative that actually stands up and does that for us. So that's why I'm running, and I'll tell you what, I will be damn proud to vote for myself come August, and that's going to be a huge achievement in my life. So thank you for your time.
Thank you to each of you for that introduction. And now we're going to get into a little bit of the meat of the evening. I will be asking each of you the same question. We're going to go down the line and we're going to rotate so the same person does not start first all the time. Jennifer, you will be first since Rob had the opportunity to speak first on his introduction. So the first question of the evening is, why are you running for the U.S. House race rather than a local or state race?
So I learned the hard way that what happens in Washington and Tallahassee doesn't always stay there, right? It shows back up in your classroom, it shows up in your paycheck, it shows up in your property insurance increases. And I recognized while serving on the school board that there was a limit to local government when we have leaders up the chain who are stoking culture wars and constantly worrying about things that don't actually matter to everyday people and weren't solving problems. They left us alone to fix that. And so we fought back. And I started an organization called Educated We Stand to help get other school board members elected across the state of Florida and across swing states. And 80% of our candidates who were endorsed against Moms for Liberty opponents were successful. And I'm really proud of that. But I also know Randy Fine, unfortunately a little too well. I know his chaos he creates, I know his division, I know his bully tactics, his misogyny, his racism, his bigotry, I know all of it, and it's not abstract. Yes, it is personal to me, but it's personal to every single person that he represents in this district and every person of the state and this country, and unfortunately now that we are in war with Iran, every single person in this world. I truly believe that we have a chance in this midterm to not only take back the House, but we have an opportunity to take out people who are the most vile and dangerous members of Congress with this blue wave, and I believe that this is the time to have a candidate stand up who can take him on, take on his war chest, and get rid of him as the cancer that he is on the United States of America's Congress.
Ronnie, I will read the question again. The question is, why are you running for the U.S. House race rather than a local or state race?
Absolutely. Thank you. The local and the state race is just as important as the U.S. congressional race. But we've been seeing that's been happening in the last few months. A lot of the problems that we've been seeing, local and state races can only put a Band-Aid on a problem. I'm trying to tackle the problem head on and make it never come back again. I was always taught to hit the problem head on and make it go away than rather it come back. Running for U.S. Congress, I was the first candidate on this panel right here to put their hat in this race because I saw the problem early, and I said I have to do something about it. And so I'm a Christian. I believe, and everybody knows the story of David and Goliath. I don't believe in attacking from the legs down. You gotta hit them, run ahead, get it done, push forward, change the narrative, and change it for the future. So that's why I decided to go in this race for U.S. Congress.
Would you like me to read the question again?
You're okay.
Okay.
You know, every position is important. Down ballot, it's truly important. And what I am doing is, working with down ballot candidates already. So we have already gone out canvassing and trying to spread the word with like-minded individuals that there is a team that is coming up this election cycle. I look at this position as it starts from the top, and we need a representative that truly understands that and wants to build that partnership and those coalitions. And right now we have somebody that just creates divide and wants to stoke as much division as possible to where you don't feel safe even talking to other people. You don't feel safe talking to the sheriff, for example, at times. We need people that are gonna start making bridges rather than destroying them, and that's where I'm choosing to run for this position rather than starting at something lower level.
Rob, would you like me to read that again?
Sure.
Okay, so the question is, why are you running for the U.S. House race rather than a local or state race?
Thank you for the question. And state and local races are very important because a lot of things that come out the federal government and get pushed down to the state and local government, sometimes it doesn't hit the local government, it stops at the state. And so the reason why I decided to run for Congress is First of all, I understand the federal government. I served 10 years in the Marine Corps. And then too, as a nonprofit leader, we advocate both on the state and the federal level for legislation for the people that we serve. And so, and I started to see that a lot of stuff that the working families that I come in contact with and the voters are struggling with or trying to navigate is federal. They are taking away the food stamps, the SNAP benefits. They're taking away health insurance. They're affecting our Social Security retirement. These are federal issues. And I'm not in this race for a brand or whatever. I'm in this race for the working family people that shake their head and say, when is my chance? When can I have the American dream? When can I have the home? What, are my children going to be able to have a future? And so that's why I decided, because if we can affect it at the federal level, then it can push down to the state level. And so that's why I decided to run for U.S. Congress.
We will move on to question number 2. Ronnie, you will be the first to answer this question. The question is, what is your plan for winning?
Well, my plan for winning, I have already enacted my plan for winning. We have mobilized over 30 volunteers in this district so far. A lot of people in here knows me. They know Ronnie is everywhere. And that's Ronnie is pretty much everywhere. We already been hitting the streets, talking to the families that haven't, I talked to so many families who never saw their representative in 30 years, who never even saw a candidate come to their door. I'm not afraid to go into places where people are afraid to go. I grew up in a place like that. I never knew my representative, and I want it to be different. So my plan on winning is to mobilizing the people, because you can have all the money in the world, but that money do not come out and vote. The people come out and vote, and the people need somebody that will really sit up there and care about them and just go into their house, no matter how it looks, because they can't afford it. It could be the dirtiest area. It could be the most crime-ridden area. They still look forward to being represented by you. And so I'm not afraid to walk in those areas. I do it right now, me and my volunteers. We're almost done collecting every single petition, because we go into the places where people don't go before and mobilize the people. So my plan for winning is very simple. Go talk to the people. Be there for the people, and then mobilize.
Eric, what is your plan for winning?
Ground game. So we got to be on the ground, and just like Ronnie was saying, meeting people. So as you know, we're already door knocking, we're already out canvassing, we are already mobilizing volunteers as well. We have a team as well that is out and about, and that is going to be the key. You know, this is that persuasion period of let's get the name recognition out there, let's get who we are. As we shift on, we'll start shifting into direct outreach with mailers and text and so forth, which we already have a social media program in place as well. So it's just that direct connection, and I think we've lost a lot of that when it comes to this, and that's what we're trying to tackle it at.
Rob, what is your plan for winning?
I don't want to tell my secret, so, you know. No, honestly, is this. No, and first is, I don't mind sharing, because, you know, you got to have integrity to be a candidate and to be elected official. And so, and that's what I want to do, is just earn your trust and not sit up here and tell you that stuff that cannot be attainable, because we had that before. People in campaigns, they tell you all this stuff, and then once they get elected, they don't do none of that. And so it starts with me on the phones, calling you when you don't want to pick the phone up, and talking to you and having that conversation. Back to the basics of having a conversation and earning your trust. Because being a congressman, you represent all people, not just people with money, not just people, all people. And so, and it starts with a handshake, being respectful to you, and just having that conversation, and just one vote at a time. And so that's how we're gonna win this race.
Okay, we are now on the third question.
I didn't get to answer.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Jennifer. Jennifer, what is your plan to win?
Thank you. So my plan is what we've already done before. I'm fortunate to have had the experience in my school board tenure and my grassroots organization to be able to form a coalition and an infrastructure and a donor base that I'm grateful enough to be able to take into this race. And I'm also really excited to continue to expand that coalition and make it more broad as I continue to talk to voters all across this district. And in that race for school board, we swung that race 30 points almost to the left. And so we learned a lot. And it was, ground game. We knocked over 60,000 doors for that race alone. We did tons and tons of phone calls and tons of texts. But I also learned how to talk to conservative-leaning voters without compromising my progressive democratic values, because I really truly believe in the core of it all, especially with this opponent, that Democrats, independents, and those dispirited Republicans that exist right now, they will absolutely rally behind a candidate that stands up to a bully and someone who stands up for them. And so I'm really excited to be a part of this, and I really believe that the plan is what terrifies Randy Fine. Randy Fine is lazy. Randy Fine will not do the work. I don't have corporate PAC money. I have small dollar donors and volunteers on the ground, and that's what I'm gonna emulate as we continue to grow this campaign. Randy Fine can't do that. He knows he can't do that, and that's exactly how we're gonna beat him in November.
Question 3, and we'll start with Ronnie. Eric. You guys need to keep me straight, okay? Okay. We'll start with Eric.
Here we go.
There. What are your 2 top policies, and how will you try to implement them when you are in office?
I'll be as brief as I can with a minute with that. 2 big.
You have 3 minutes.
Oh, I thought we had a minute.
No, 3 minutes to answer the question.
Oh, okay, cool. So, all right. Wearing it down. So, 2 key policies. One will be getting the money out of politics, and then the second is bringing money back into our district. So, with getting the money out of politics, we have to start, 1, attacking Citizens United and repealing that. We need to limit insider trading or like congressional trading with stocks. We need to change how lobbies work and how lobbyists interact with our members of Congress. And then as well as kind of change campaign finance once and for all as well. We do not change anything in Washington or make any of these improvements that we want to do until we get the money out of our politics. And that's the key right there. But speaking of money, we need to bring money back into our district. And if you look around us, we have infrastructure that is crumbling all across the district, from town to town. And that's where we need a representative that truly understands that and knows the areas, but also can work with the municipalities to get the proper funding back home. So work through appropriations, work through grants, work through whatever federal funding is available and help these local cities, municipalities, or so forth, get the money back for the projects they need. 2 big projects that I really are near and dear to my heart are, 1, flooding that's in downtown Daytona off of Nova Road. That hits home to me with a past team member of mine that got flooded out of his home after a hurricane, and that has still not been repaired. It's just been study after study. The second is the fact of up in Putnam County, that county has no government resources at all, no federal government. So if they want to visit a Social Security office, Medicaid, Medicare, they have to go outside to another county, whether it be Flagler, St. John's, Volusia, or Alachua, or Volusia. It's not fair. So we need to figure out how we can get them some type of funding, whether it's through appropriations, to get a proper federal building there for them to have a resource. Those are my 2 big policy pieces.
Rob, what are your 2 top policies, and how will you try to implement them when you are in office?
Thank you for the question. And my 2 top priorities are first is our seniors, is that I want to make sure, and there's a bill that's already been put forth to raise the COLA for our seniors that's on Social Security retirement, because what's happening is that the inflation, cost of living went up, and our seniors' COLA is not matching that, and we're seeing more seniors that are being forced into homelessness because they can't afford to live in the district. And so I want to partner with the congressman or woman that already have that piece of that legislation already that hasn't hit the floor because we don't have the House. And then my second thing is that the cost of living really is this. I know that's been in the news, but it's a real thing. It is a real thing, and I want to make sure that we can lower the cost of living and make sure that people are able to be a first-time home buyer, because that is getting farther and farther away. And it breaks my heart that people can live in hotels because it's cheaper than to stay in a home, and that don't make sense in this rich country and the United States of America. Then you said 2, but I'm gonna say 3. My third thing is veterans. Maybe being a veteran, and the VA has gotten better, but it's when we leave the VA and get back into our own communities, that's where the struggle really happens. So I want to make sure that funding is going out to the organizations or veterans that want to start an organization to support other veterans while they're in the community. And so those are my top 3.
Jennifer, what are your 2 top policies, and how will you try to implement them when you are in office?
So it's not going to be wasting time talking about annexing Greenland or banning Sharia law. It's absolutely going to be first and foremost affordability. It's one of the only conversations that people have with me when I'm meeting them on the ground. Right now, residents in Florida, District 6, but also all across the state and this country are struggling to be able to keep up with the costs. But specifically here, has to do with our homeowners insurance increase, and has to do with the rising cost of groceries and goods. And so one of the things that I would champion is for a federal reinsurance program and a catastrophe backstop so we can stabilize the homeowners insurance market. It's something that no one has advocated for, and it's absolutely ridiculous, especially coming from the state of Florida. I absolutely will repeal and fight to repeal the tariffs of this Trump administration that is absolutely a tax on the consumers. And I would fight for a universal child tax credit, so that way families can keep more money inside of their pockets and take care of their families. I always have been, and I always will be, an advocate for public education, so I will absolutely fight with WWE Linda McMahon to stop her from destroying the Department of Education, and I will demand that we finally fully fund IDEA and 504 and Title I and mental health services for our students, our teachers, and our staff. And when we talk about the safety and the protection of our kids, we can't ignore what's happening right now with ICE. And so I would be so proud to be in Washington right now with this Democratic coalition that is standing strong and saying no more dollars to that department while they are ripping families apart, while they're walking onto school campuses, into churches, and into hospitals.
Ronnie, what are your 2 top policies, and how will you try to implement them when you are in office?
Good question. Well, before I implement my policies, we have to impeach this president first and undo every single policy he has done, right? I'm saying from the top down all the way to the Speaker of the House, we need to change the whole regime, and we need to make connections again back with our counterparts and our from other countries, right? Because we need to stabilize our relationships in order to make our country better. But the top 2 policies for me is healthcare is number 1. And the reason why healthcare and economy relief. And the reason why I chose those 2, right? We see what's going on with healthcare insurance. I worked in this field for almost 15 years. If you're not alive to enjoy that house and that car, what's the point? Many people die because they don't have health insurance. Or many people are paying 700% more right now because of health insurance. It don't only affect your pay, affordability. People cannot afford homes because after they go to the doctor, those bills go into their credit report, the credit report comes back, now you can't get a rental house, you can't get a house. It's a trickle effect. So I think healthcare for me is a big thing because that could stabilize a lot of our problems in America. And the next one is affordability and economic, right? We need to protect our renters. We need to protect our workers. We need fair wages. I also agree with Rob. One of my big thing is Social Security for the seniors who work their whole life to make sure they're secure at the end of the year. In no way anybody in this world could live off $900 a month. We need to make sure the cost of living is adjusted to what's the 2025 levels. The levels they use it right now are 1986 with no raise. We need relief, we need strong union, and we need protections, and that's how, and the way I'm going to do that is we need to, we can't promise nothing, but we have to work with our counterparts across the aisle. I'm hoping that we can take back our Congress this election because it will be way easier to work with a Democrat than a Republican. But if I have to, we also still have to go across the aisle and make sure they're okay, because we don't represent just Democrats. We represent the independents and the Republicans as well. And we gotta make sure their voices are heard too. We might have different opinions, but they also have a say at the pot. And that's how we're gonna work together and get it done.
Did I do it right this time? All of you answered. Okay, all right, very good, very good. Now, we're going to enter our question and answer session. We have a couple of questions that were received online, and but we are going to open it up. Since y'all are here, we're going to give our live audience the chance to ask the first question. So whoever gets their hand up first, that's the one that will ask. Don't raise it yet. Oh. Well, you won anyway. But we'll start with Rob, and we'll go through second question, Jennifer, third question, Ronnie, et cetera. Keep me straight if I lose it. Okay, hopefully I won't. Jim. 1 minute, yes, thank you. 1 minute answers. Each of you gets to answer the question that is asked.
My question will be quicker than a minute. The question is, how will you work together? One of you is going to be the winner. We need all of you together. Will you pledge here? You will give each other information on your volunteers, your ideas, and we will all work together, whoever wins, to defeat Randy Fine in the fall. Thank you.
I'll answer that then.
Well, Rob is first. Rob is first. 1 minute, Rob.
Thank you for the question. And yes, if I don't win the primary, I will support whoever is in the primary and make sure that that candidate is winning in November. And because I'm here for the greater good, we need to take back the House. We need to get it back to normalcy, and we have some great candidates up here. And you hear from me, if I'm not the primary winner, I would support whoever is.
Jennifer?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When Josh Wheel was running in the special election, I had quite a few conversations with him and his team when he was doing his media for his commercials. There was a lot of volunteers that came out of Brevard County to help support him. Absolutely. I would do anything to get rid of this man. I really believe it is so. But I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny, right? Because I have seen him. I have seen what him getting reelected does and how it empowers him to be more vile and more dangerous. And I will do anything for that. And so if I am not the nominee in August, I will still be here helping and working. I have not given my time, my life, my family's time and dedication to this just to throw it all away. I absolutely will provide every resource I possibly can.
Ronnie, your turn.
Absolutely, and I talked to Eric, I talked to Rob, and now I'm telling Jennifer, yeah, absolutely, they already knew that all my resources, everything I have going, all my volunteers, because she's right, that's a vile human being that's in that office right now. But we're not only talking about Randy Fine, it's the whole Trump administration has to go, and I'm not gonna only help this district, we need to help every district that's surrounding us and every person that comes to us for any source or any resource they need, so I'm all for it, I'm all game.
Eric, 1 minute.
Just a simple yes, I will.
I like it.
Our second question will be an online question, and Jennifer, you will answer first, please. 1 minute to answer each of these questions. What specific action will you take to reach groups who traditionally have low voter turnout and marginalized community?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. You want to do longer?
Well, because we're doing really good on time. I think give them more time to
Okay, we'll give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes to answer this question.
Sure. So I'm going to implement the same strategies I did when I ran my race for school board. I had a lot of low-income communities. I had a lot of Title I schools that I had to focus on. The reality is that we have to get outside of our comfort zone and our bubbles, and we have to meet people where they are. And so our goal as a campaign is to be hosting events and town halls in those communities directly. It's a lot easier to have them come and join you when you do it on their time. Often a lot of barriers that are in place is childcare. So sometimes when you're having events, it's really helpful to have a childcare service in place or something for the kids to be entertained, because busy parents don't have time after they're working 2-3 jobs sometimes to come to a political campaign event. We will make sure that we have resources in place so not only that we can reach those voters, but so those voters can reach us. For Hispanic communities, I have hired Spanish-speaking staff. We're actively recruiting Spanish-speaking volunteers to make sure that they can knock on doors and they can translate our campaign material. So we're doing our best to make sure that we can reach every single one of those communities.
Ronnie, what specific action will you take to reach groups who traditionally have low voter turnout and marginalized community?
Well, I was a part of that community. I am that community. We cannot sugarcoat that the Black and Latino community is the ones that's always undeserved, and I am both. I grew up in one of those communities, so I know how to reach those people. We've been doing it now. I just told you guys earlier that I've been going into the places where they haven't seen anybody, any elected official, in years. And I promise you, you see a barbecue on the side of the road, we will feed you. They will accept you. Go talk to them. They just want to talk. And no matter their party lines, they love talking about politics. You might come with a debate. They might disagree with you, but at the end of the day, they're going to be like, at least you came and had that discussion with me. So just meet them where they are. Some people are tired of putting all the effort in for getting nothing in return. They want to see us put that effort in first to say, okay, if he's putting in effort, then I'm going to give a little something again. Because a lot of people lost hope. They lost hope in the elected official because they gave them a chance and we blew it. So go meet them where they are. Go meet them outside of the school line. My wife will tell you, I go to my public schools around and I talk to the parents waiting for their kid because you can't leave. But it gained me a lot of respect, right? And so meet them where they are. Go to places where you know they're going to be at and talk with them. They just want to talk. Thank you.
Eric, what specific action will you take to reach groups who traditionally have low voter turnout and marginalized community?
Show up, talk. I mean, that's the key, just as we're saying up here. It's a matter of connecting with voters where they're at and not making empty promises as well. I mean, that's what we've been given across the board. And, you know, we just have to start understanding what everyone is going through. And each community is different. You know, I spoke about Putnam County. I spent a lot of time up there going through, and every month I'm on their homeless coalition board of how can we make better impact within the community, and it gives you an idea of what they're experiencing. And they have not had a representative or even local representatives actually show up and pay attention to those things. And that's just what we have to do, or what I have to do, is just to continue to show up and not make empty promises, but to show that I am listening, that I am paying attention, and that I care, and that I will do anything I can to make sure that we get proper representation back for them.
And Rob, what specific action will you take to reach groups who traditionally have low voter turnout and marginalized community?
Thank you for the question. This is real personal to me because we have been doing this, and I have been doing this before I even decided to run for office, is to get people that are, you know, low income, people that feel forgotten, to get involved in the political process. And so, because, you know, it has not been easy for me and for the work that I do in my day job, because every room that I go in, people don't want me there. And I'm be honest with you. So I vow to myself is by running for office, I'm giving somebody hope that they can too run for office. And it's not just somebody with a name, not somebody with money, somebody that really cares, that really want people to live and stop surviving. And so we have been doing that. We have been getting out there and really just making that population feel heard. And that's what they need. That's what they want, is to feel heard and be involved in the process. And so we've been doing that.
Okay. Reggie, you did it.
It was mentioned that crossing the line to work with the other side. How do you facilitate that when the puppet master doesn't want it to be done?
Ronnie, you're first.
You are 100% right, but there comes a point where they have to realize that the people need to hold them accountable. We've been seeing what's been happening in Washington. We understand what's been happening in Washington. But even representatives get fed up at one point. It's so much that you can take as a person. We've seen it been happening in the last couple of months. I'm gonna give a good example of Marjorie Taylor Greene. You know, she's a hardline Republican, but she broke because her community came out and spoke and said, okay, we are on your team, but we're hurt. So eventually, something is gonna get them to come. But I have been fighting for the public most of my life. And there is always that one thing that would click in their head and say, is it right? And the way you do that is throw something at them that would affect them personally, right? It will affect them personally. If it will affect them personally, they will realize that the people who elect them to their office, that's for me? Okay. The people that elect them to the office is not gonna stand for that any longer. So they're gonna eventually have to work with you. Look what's been happening. We've been flipping seats left and right, right? And so now, this morning, Daniel Webster have called Ron DeSantis to not redistrict because he understands the consequences of doing so. So there always come consequences with everything, and we're going to have to work with the other side. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're gonna have to depend on me just as much I'm gonna have to depend on them, and we need to get politics back for the people.
Eric?
Yeah. Best example I could use of this right now, or say of is Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna. Like those two are both working together across the aisle and putting forth legislation to hold people accountable and giving the option out there for people and to be able to see it. And that's going to be the key. And yeah, some of them are stuck in their ways and they're not going to go across, and that is fine. I think a lot of them will be primaried out this upcoming election cycle, and we're going to have a coalition of people, right and left, that want to be a true representative and want to show up for the people that they are elected to represent. And it's just a matter of building those relationships starting day one, and that's the key. It's like you have to get there and start seeing who you can trust and who you can't, and who you can build a relationship with, and start having those conversations. That's how I have the best conversation with anyone that I think that thinks differently than me, is just talk, whatever it is. What's on your mind, talk, open it up, and work through what that is. You'll be amazed how far you can get with somebody.
Rob, your turn.
Hey, Reggie, thank you for the questions, and I look forward to talking with you. But one thing that I will do is have a respectful conversation, and because you all would entrust me to get up there and handle business and make sure we bring some stuff back to this district, and so just sit down having a conversation, but be firm when you have to be firm, but don't make you all look like a mockery because I'm up here up in DC doing some stuff that I shouldn't be doing. And it just take having a conversation, because we got too much, all this going at each other, is nothing gets done. Nothing getting done, and I know I get frustrated when I look at the TV and I still see my light bill going up, I still see my grocery bill going up, and all this bickering, and it just take a conversation. and bring that politics back to where the politics were. And it's not, us versus them. Is we got to come as, we're the United States of America, united. And we need to get back united because people are fearful, and it's coming from D.C. It's coming from D.C. and it's rolling down to the states, and the people in the Florida legislature or the Senate cannot agree on anything. And we at the bottom feel the brunt of that. And so representing you first, that's integrating me, and then being honest and being up there to do the job. And if it means that, having a conversation with somebody from the other aisle just so we can come to agreement to get some stuff done, I'm willing to do that.
Jennifer.
So I had that experience over my 4 years on the school board. I was the only Democratic elected member of a 5-person board. So I was forced to learn how to navigate that, not just with my fellow elected officials, but with the public, who were very firm in their belief systems. But what I think is going to happen going forward after this election, I think naturally the environment is going to shift because we have different kinds of candidates all across this country running in this midterm election that are going to replace some of the old guard and some of that intense extremism on one side in particular. And so I think naturally they're going to be forced into that and realize they're kind of out of that majority. But I think that the core of it all is, as Democrats, I think we've often, and both sides are guilty of this, we feel like sometimes if we give a little for a big grand idea that we believe in, that we gave up. And we have to stop believing that, because otherwise we're not going to get anywhere. And so I believe that things that can go across party lines or just come together on are always going to involve children, seniors, and veterans. So that's what I'm going to do when I get up there.
Our next question is an online question. Eric, you will be first to respond to this question. In communities like Deltona and across Volusia County, residents rely heavily on personal vehicles due to limited transit options. With the federal gas tax no longer keeping up with infrastructure demands, how will you advocate for a funding solution that maintains our roads without placing additional financial strain on car-dependent communities like ours?
Okay. Yeah. Well, with the federal gas tax, I mean, for what that is, it's about 18 cents that's added on to gasoline, right? Do we need to increase that? Maybe at some point, but not right now. Gas is already way too expensive. I think the key to what we're trying to do is make sure our tax dollars are used efficiently and effectively across our area. I look at what's going on in Ormond Beach with US or Granada and A1A. Like, how many times has that road been redone since they've been doing it, building it, right? We have to make sure our tax dollars are being properly spent and there's accountability within that. And it's advocating for the right grants and processes to be able to get the money back into our communities, and then also promote public transportation as well. That is a huge problem within our communities, to where we have areas that are totally dependent on vehicles, and those that don't have a vehicle cannot travel anywhere. So we have to provide funding back. Is the gas tax the answer to that? Maybe, but right now it's not increasing the gas tax, that's for sure. And it's a matter of making sure our taxes are being spent properly and really efficiently as well. Because right now there's a lot of waste that goes through. And I think of the Infrastructure Recovery Act, or whatever it was that passed in 2021, talk about broadband, and that was wasted. Those projects were wasted over time and weren't effective, and we're still waiting for that. So we need to make sure that we're using our tax dollars efficiently.
Would you like me to repeat the question? Yes. Okay. This will take like 30 seconds of your, no, okay. In communities like Deltona and across Volusia County, residents rely heavily on personal vehicles due to limited transit options. With the federal gas tax no longer keeping up with infrastructure demands, how will you advocate for a funding solution that maintains our roads without placing additional financial strain on car-dependent communities like ours?
Okay, thank you for the question. And one thing that comes to mind is this, is that I know we all congressional candidates, but those local and state races are so important too, because a lot of stuff that come out the federal government that get pushed down to the state and to the local government, it gets stopped. This governor turned back so much federal money when Biden was president that it could help to a lot of stuff and help the roads. And so that's why it's so important that we as Democrats elect up, down, we vote for candidates up, down the ballot, because I could push all the federal money out there and have great ideas at the federal level, but once it hit Florida and we have a Republican governor and a Republican House and a Republican Senate, they'll push that money back. And we've seen it with the Medicaid, we've seen it with all that and stuff. And so for infrastructure, President Biden did a nice, good infrastructure bill, and our governor didn't want to take that money. And so, and now we as the consumers and the people of this district, people that live, we have to take on that burden. And that's why it's so important that we as Democrats, we as voters, is really, really pay attention to our candidates, pay attention and vote, because we can try all our hardest, but if it's not getting down to the local level, it's not going to be effective.
You don't have to repeat it. No, I'm not going to repeat anything you said. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. That's perfect. And I'm going to continue from there. I completely agree with you. You know, when I was on the school board, Ron DeSantis literally waited until the day before the expiration date to take COVID relief funds. He did the exact same thing with the infrastructure money. So Rob is completely correct when it comes to that. But the other thing when it comes to roadways that is really, really complicated, it has a lot to do with your county commission and your city council, because some of those roadways are federal and some of those roadways are city and some of them are state, and they all interconnect and they never communicate with one another, and then they just forget it or they piecemeal it all together, and that's why you end up with the same road getting repaired 15,000 times. So as much as the federal government, yes, can play a role in things like mass transit of trains, which would be really nice in the state of Florida, north to south, east to west. When it comes to your local roads, yes, they play a part, but it's really, really complicated, and it's such a finite issue, and I agree wholeheartedly. You have to pay attention to who you have elected locally, because they're the ones who have to ultimately advocate up the chain of command.
Go ahead.
Ronnie.
I'm doing this to mess with her, by the way.
In communities like Deltona and across Volusia County, residents rely heavily on personal vehicles due to limited transit options. With the federal gas tax no longer keeping up with infrastructure demands, how will you advocate for a funding solution that maintains our roads without placing additional financial strain on car-dependent communities like ours?
Absolutely. So everybody know I'm from New York. We relied heavily on public transit there. And we got to be honest with ourselves. There's a lot of people moving down to Florida. We have to bring money to our public infrastructure. I know the roadways are bad. I'm not copying y'all either. But a lot of those local issues does come back to your local congressional and county commissioners and everything. But at the federal level, we do have a responsibility as well. We can trickle money down and force them to use that money for what it's being used. And that's what we need to be doing. Because what the federal government is doing right now, especially in these red states, they're giving them a blanket check and say, go fix the roads, but not telling them what to fix, and not holding them responsible to fixing that roads. We do need to also expand, I believe, the Sunrail up and down Florida. We also need to expand Amtrak. That's a federal train system that we, as federal candidates, can advocate that can stop in every single county, because it's happening in states like Virginia and New York. The gas tax is a big thing. Yes, you're gonna save a little bit of money, 18 cents, but what we're seeing right now is almost $5 a gallon. I will take every cent I can, but first we have to stop this war, and we gotta stop these tariffs, because we can give you 18 cents, but with the war and the tariffs, you're gonna pay $1.50 more. So what is the point of giving you 18 cents if we're gonna have to pay $1.50 more? right? So there's a lot of plans in place that we can come together and work with, but we have to make sure that the money is being spent on where we putting it to. And that's holding the governor and the state senates accountable. Because as they mentioned, there's a lot of money that's been funneled for projects that we badly need in our community and is nowhere to be found. Thank you.
Okay, audience question. There was someone here, the gentleman.
I live in Florida. I am a registered Democrat from New York. I am the most anti-Trump person in this room. I have zero filters when it comes to Donald Trump. My question is, why are you all being so polite? Why are you all being so eloquent? This man lives in the gutter. He has taken Randy into the gutter with him. I can't even say the man's last name. I call him Randy Swine. You want an ad campaign? You take Randy, characterize him as a pig, put a pink tutu on him and a leash, and have Donald Trump dragging him to Mar-a-Lago. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I offended anybody.
I like you, brother. I'm from New York, too.
Eric, would you like to respond?
I would like to respond if he's not going to go first. First of all, I 100% agree with you, right? But Donald Trump is not in my face right now. We're going to scorch him, but he's not in my face right now. Right now, I'm talking to people that want to know what we're going to do for their community, and I don't need to be cursing at them, but to be discussed.
I think there's power in us being civil up here. You know, our federal government has been so toxic and so negative and so vile, and it has created a lot of just divide and hate, and it's there. Like, trust me, it's there, but there's also key in making sure that there's civility and that we lead by example on what that looks like.
Rob?
Thank you for the question, and yes, I really, you know, I just can't be that way, because then I am not being a solution, I'm being a problem, because that's what's going on now, is that, you know, if I won't let my kids talk that way, why are we letting the president talk that way? But I have to, and like I said in my intro, if I want to see change, I have to be the change, because yes, that can get me clickbaits, that can get me viral, that can get me all that, but it's not going to do anything for you when you are at the grocery store, when you are at the gas station, when you are trying to get health insurance, because I'm up there calling people different names and bullying and just, you know, being disrespectful to our neighbors, and I can't do that, and I'm not going to do that, because I got to look myself in the mirror and I see a person that I'm proud of, and I can't go that way. Thank you.
So I actually see it from both sides. I think you can walk and chew gum at the same time. I think that this is the perfect environment for us to be civil amongst, I'm assuming everyone in this room is an ally of some sort. But I'm a firm believer in punching back when it comes to Randy Fine and his opponent, because Randy Fine is not the kind of individual that you turn another cheek to, because if you turn your cheek, you're giving him permission to slap you in the other one. I've learned it over the years. I agree. There is a limit, and there is a point where you do have to hold people accountable for the things that they are doing. When they say a certain kind of person is beneath the level of a dog, you better be punching right back at them. They need to hear it. But you need to be able to be consistent and still stay strong and firm and talk about the things that actually matter to the constituents in your district at the exact same time.
I do want to tag team, and I'll take a little bit of liberty here because there was a question that came in online that is very much related to our gentleman's question here. And I will take a little liberty as well because I'm sure everyone in this room understands that the current inhabitant of the White House has given permission for people to act disrespectful at minimum. And it's bringing out the things which used to keep people squelched and under cover. That has been absolutely removed, and aberrancy has risen to the top now, and it's almost become norm. Now, that being said, the question that we have received online does certainly relate to what our gentleman here says. And it says, how are you going to deal with personal attacks and lies that Randy Fine is going to spend millions of dollars spreading about you when you face him? And Rob, in sequence order, you come first to answer this question.
Thank you for the question, whoever gave it to you online. That's something, you know, I'm a person in active and sustained recovery. And that's what I do in my day job is run a recovery community organization. And so, and my life was not always, you know, at the best. And being in substance use, you went through some things and you've been cast away because people think that it's a choice, but it is a disease. And so I understand that, and I understand that Randy Fine will go that level, but, you know, that doesn't define me, and I always take it because I know that you all want somebody that's going to represent you, somebody to see you, somebody that believes in you. And I've been there where people didn't believe me. I've been there where people tried to destroy my name, and it doesn't do anything for you, but it makes you miserable. And so, but that's why I stand up here and I tell you my truth. I tell you my truth. I'm not going to hide anything because, like I always say, is integrity starts with me. And I have to be honest, and I know Randy Fine will do all that stuff, and it's okay. Because I knew what I was signing up when I said I want to run for office. I knew that was coming with it, but I want to earn your trust.
Jennifer?
There is not a single thing that Randy Fine can do that he hasn't already done to myself and my family. So I'm not concerned about it. And quite frankly, I don't believe he's going to do any of it, should I be the nominee in August. He hasn't said a single word. Instead, he goes to the National Republican Party, the State Republican Party. He's had Laura Loomer attack me personally already in this campaign. But I gotta be honest with you, when my family and I, and honestly my community, went through the chaos that he stoked for over 2.5 years consistently every single day, it wasn't easy. But I am a very different person now than I was then. I have built coping skills that I didn't have back then. I built security and unity around me in my family and in my friends, and so I can take it if it happens, but I think he knows better. He no longer lives in this secluded bubble of Republican protection of Brevard County where they did whatever he wanted and what he says. He's already facing consequences here right now where he has so many Republican primary challengers. He knows he's on a national stage and he's not gonna get away with it. So I really don't think it's gonna be the same.
Ronnie?
Yep. So, getting into this race, I did my homework. I know the kind of human being that guy is. I have thick skin. There's nothing he can do to me that haven't probably already been done. And I'm facing it already. They already been attacking me. It's been happening. But I'm not giving up. I recently been arrested for standing up to a MAGA, for them making lies. It's been happening to me already. But I had really thick skin, because right after I got out, I went right and started collecting petitions again and started talking to my community, right? And many people know about it already. It's public. Many people read, they understand, and it's not gonna get to me, because they want me to give up. They already started spreading lies about me, so many different lies. Yes, I do have a high school diploma, if you guys don't know. I have 2 degrees. Yeah, so we know the attack is gonna come not only from Randy Fine, it's gonna come from every single MAGA possible, and no matter who gets nominated here, the president is gonna attack us with everything he has, right? Because he has no filter. And like the question says, he opened that up to the public to not hide it anymore, right? I already been called the N-word already, walking through Putnam County. I've been already attacked, but I'm still here, I'm still strong, and I'm still gonna do it. Thank you.
Eric?
Let them. Like, that's fine. I don't have anything to hide in my past that I don't want getting out there. Like, I'm very transparent with everything. So I'm not worried about that. And I rely on the connections that I am building in the community and the connections that I am just trying to show that I'm a genuine person, right? And that will take any attack that somebody wants to throw my way and kind of squash it. Like, it's not going to hurt me at all. I'm not necessarily worried about any of that. So let it happen. That's fine. The community already understands who Randy Fine is. They know who Donald Trump is. Even if they voted for them, a lot of them are questioning what the hell they voted for. And then they're going to meet other candidates that are like, oh, this is how this should truly be. And that's fine. Like, let the attacks come.
What we're going to do, I apologize for it's wonderful to see everyone having so many questions to ask. We have one more question online that we will ask our panel and then give them the opportunity to answer. Then the next step, we will give them the opportunity for closing remarks. And our hope is that our candidates may be able to hang around a little bit. For anyone in the audience that perhaps has a question, maybe directed to a specific candidate, but just to give you the opportunity. But we do want to be mindful of everyone's time because we'd be here all night with a multitude of questions. So the last question, and I believe if I have this right, Jennifer, you will start. The next question is online, and it is, how do you feel about members of Congress stock trading?
I'm an educator married to a middle school teacher in the lowest paid state in the country. I don't own stock. I'm just being honest. I think it's insane. I think it's ridiculous. I'm embarrassed by even the Democratic members of Congress who refuse to stand up and say that it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, and I will absolutely do everything I can to be a part of the coalition that puts that forward.
Ronnie?
I 100% agree. If you are a private citizen, you want to hold stock, I 100% agree. You could do whatever you want. But once you go into the capacity where you make the decisions that can affect how much money you're making with that stock, I think you need to give it up. So I think we need to ban stock trading for people that make that decision. And you'll start seeing them probably come back to a right mind of saying this is the right thing to do because they won't be making as much money. So I'm all on board for banning stock trading if you're the ones in Congress. And I'm talking about Congress, U.S. Senate, and President. You shouldn't be able to trade stocks because you make that decision that can affect how much money you make. Of course they're going to want to make more money. Right? So I'm all for banning it.
Eric?
Yeah, as I already mentioned, we need to get rid of stock trading by members of Congress, and it's truly one of the worst things that we've been seeing. I mean, we just saw it recently with the president announcing something he was doing with having peace talks, and then somebody bought some oil, and then next thing you know, it's sold. It's happening in front of us every single day, and it's absolutely disgusting. And that is why we're not getting anything done. That is why we're sending people up to Congress, and next thing you know, they're millionaires. And they make $165,000. Like, how are you a millionaire after that? So we need to ban it, among other things, and that's it, across the board. No one in public office should be able to trade stock.
Rob?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I agree that there need to be some guardrails in place for members of Congress when it comes to stock trading, because yes, they do have inside knowledge, and I know that they're working on some type of legislation, some bill down there for that. And so if I'm a member of Congress, I will support that legislation, that bill, to make sure members of Congress and senators, even I would get frustrated with the president because he made so much money while he became our president, and so they need to be in guardrails for our members of Congress about stock trading.
Now what we will do is we will ask each of our candidates to give a 3-minute closing statement where they can have the liberty to discuss whatever they would like, whether they want to expound on any question that they were asked earlier or something perhaps you want to say that we did not have the opportunity to ask you. So we will go through, give each of you 3 minutes to give your closing remarks, and after they are done, then we'll talk a little bit more. And according to my cadence, if I have it right, Ronnie, you are first to give a 3-minute closing address.
Absolutely. I want to appreciate everybody for coming out here tonight. You guys are the first step to taking back our democracy. And without you guys, we'll be a lost country. I know it feels like that right now, but seeing everybody around this room gives me hope. Seeing what's been happening in the last couple months gives me hope. And we need hope. We need something, or we're going to just cry all day. And it's okay to cry, because I do it sometimes too, right? But this election is very, very important. I want you guys to make sure that you tell your family, your friends, make sure they voter registration and everything is up to date, because with this administration and with this Ron DeSantis, they trying everything. They gerrymandering. They trying to suppress our votes. They waiting for the Voting Rights Act to be struck down from the Supreme Court to gerrymander. They know what's happening. But now they also scared because they still doing it in Texas, and now they just flipped red and blue district to purple, and they might lose both, right? So stay up to date, stay strong. I'm gonna be here after to talk to people. If you guys got any questions, you guys know how to contact me. I might see y'all, because Ronnie's everywhere again, but don't give up hope, because if you guys give up, there's nothing there, okay? Thank you.
Eric?
Yeah. Well, first, just thank you all for being here. I mean, you're out here participating, and this is the key. Like, this is how we make change happen. This is how we win. As Ronnie just said, like, we hear it every election cycle, but this is truly the most important election we've had in a very, very long time. And we need everyone to understand what's at stake this year, and that everyone can have a voice. We just saw it happen with the seats that we flipped. How close was that margin with a lot of those? Just a few hundred votes. We need everyone to show up, and it starts with you all here, and I really appreciate you being here. And this election will come down to a couple things. The main thing is who's gonna be the best representative for this area, who cares about it, who shows up for it, who understands it. Because we've had people in the past that don't care, that don't have a clue about it and have used it and have kept us so divided that we can't even talk to each other. And that's sad, and I'm over it, and I'm tired of it, and I want what's best for my community, my district, and to really show what this could truly be, what representation truly looks like. So thank you all for being here.
Rob?
Thank y'all, and this is an honor to be up here, and I'm so grateful to be up here with you all. And thank you all for coming out, and I know you have more important things to do, but you came and spent it with us, and a lot of people shaking their head, and that tells me that you believe in a democracy and you want change. And so what I'm gonna close with is this, that, you know, this is not the America I know. This is not the America that I want my kids to grow up in, and this is not the America that let me go to Paris Island, stand on yellow footprints, and raise my right hand and serve this country. And I'm up here and I'm running for office because I think about those service members that's right now on those ships, flying in the air, and I've been in that situation where you land in a country, you don't know why you're there, but you do it because that's what you're signed up to do. And I think about the single mom that I run into in Putnam County that doesn't know if she'll have enough SNAP benefits to feed her 4 kids. That's why I'm standing up here. That's why I decided to run for office. Then I think about that. I think about the senior that doesn't have enough retirement, and we have to encourage him to sell his home so he can move into senior living because the cost of living is outpricing him. That's why I'm running for office. This is not about a stepping stone for me. This is about people. This is about people. This is about bringing back and letting people know that this is America and they can thrive in America, but we have to start with our federal government and work on down. And that's why I'm running. And I would love your trust. I would love to speak with you after. You can ask me anything. And thank you for letting me be up on here.
Jennifer?
I want to thank everyone for allowing me to be here today too, but I want to thank all of the candidates for being up here and congratulate you for running for office in the first place, because it's not easy. A lot of things have been said about, why I'm in this race. And just as a moment of honesty, I never thought I'd be in the world of politics. I ran for school board in my local community when we were fighting for fair wages, and 500 union members got in a school board meeting demanding we just get a measly $1,000 raise when we had a pay freeze for 4 years. And when they said no, I walked across the street to the supervisor of elections and I decided to run for office. And I did it. And it was awful. It was hell. It was absolute hell. But I did it because every single person who was too scared to use their own voice thanked me for using mine, and I knew the power of that advocacy. And I started my organization, and if I'm gonna be really, really honest, I tried to go back into the classroom, and my school board banned me from working because of politics. And I really believe everything happens for a reason. I really do. And I decided my advocacy is not over. And that's why I decided to jump into this election cycle, because we have to. We have to have everyday people who are ready to fight for everyday people, who are sick and tired of the nonsense that we're seeing in Tallahassee, in our local governments, on our school boards, in Washington. And so I'm just so grateful for this opportunity. I'm not here for a stepping stone. I left a race that was bigger than this one to come to here. I'm here because I truly believe that we need to field a candidate against this dangerous, vile, racist, bigoted cancer on Congress, and we have a significant opportunity to take him out in November. So I would be honored if you would stand with me in this, and we do this together come August. Thank you.
So on behalf of Northwest Volusia Democratic Club, and I'm sure I can speak for everyone here, we would like to thank each of you for coming here this evening. I mean, you put yourself out for us. Please know that our work is to get Democrats elected. So whomever is fortunate enough to win this primary, you will have our backing and support, because that is our goal, and that is our what we live for, is to get Democrats elected. So thank you so much, each of you, for coming. To conclude the evening, we do have to finish a little bit of club business. Please don't run out right this second. We are going to announce the results of our election. That's number one. And then number two, again, if you are willing to stay, and if anyone here is willing to stay as well, if you have more questions for the candidates, please utilize this time properly. And I would be absolutely remiss at not telling you to visit the swag shop, okay? This is through your donations, through getting the things that we have in our swag shop. That is how we fund our club, okay? That is how we are able to do the things that we do, is through the donations that we receive through our products in our swag shop, along with your membership, which is so vitally important. So please spread the word, join our club, shop the swag shop, and we'll turn it over to Troy.
Troy's gonna. I just wanted to quickly mention, by the way, aren't they great candidates, all of them? You guys are awesome. I appreciate you being here. I have put together something called Eagle's Eye. If you come up to this QR code, you will find a one-stop shop for your elections. Who's running where? All of their websites are on there. If you want to join a campaign, you can go here to go there. You can go and find them on the web too. But everywhere around here has all the elections in specific Volusia County. If you want to